Something feels off today, Cancer, and you cannot quite name it. You want to move forward, maybe finally send that email, make that ask, or take the lead on something that matters to you. But every time you get close, something shifts. The ground feels less solid than it did a moment ago. That sensation is not random. It is written directly into today's sky, and by the end of this, you will understand exactly why your confidence and your clarity seem to be pulling in two different directions right now, and what to do about it. The bigger picture. The defining event of your day is Mars, moving through your own sign of Cancer, forming a tense square to Neptune. From the Western tropical perspective, this is happening between your first house of self and your 10th house of career and reputation. Mars in your first house is personal fuel. It wants to act, assert, prove something. But Neptune sits in your 10th house, the house of authority, public image, and long-term direction, and Neptune does not deal in straight lines. It deals in fog, in shifting expectations, in signals that seem clear one moment and dissolve the next. That square is the reason today can feel like driving with a windshield that keeps misting over. You know where you want to go. The road keeps blurring. Later in the day, a gentler aspect arrives to help. Mercury trines Saturn, and this is where the noise starts to settle. Saturn brings structure. Mercury brings words. Together, they offer you the ability to say something true instead of something impulsive, to choose language that matches reality rather than the version of events your frustration is writing for you. There is also a quieter, slower thread running underneath today, one that has nothing to do with urgency and everything to do with patience. Small shift in your travel patterns or your daily commute, something that looks almost too minor to mention, is being planted right now. Evolutionary astrology often looks at moments like this, not for what they mean today, but for where they lead. And where this one leads, according to the longer arc building between mid-2027 and mid-2028, is a turning point you likely will not recognize as significant until you are already standing inside it. Keep that in the back of your mind. We will return to it. Love. Here is where the Mars-Neptune tension gets personal. You may find yourself wanting to say exactly how you feel today, without apology, without softening it for anyone. There is real pull toward honesty right now, toward finally naming what you like, what you do not, what you need from someone. That instinct is valid. But Neptune's involvement means there is a real risk that your delivery does not land the way your intention meant it to. You might recognize this if you have rehearsed a conversation in your head all day, only to have it come out sideways when the moment actually arrives. Or if you send a message that feels perfectly clear to you and the person on the other end reads it as something else entirely. That is not a failure of your feelings. It is Neptune blurring the signal between what you mean and what gets received. Here is the emotional question worth sitting with. Are you being misunderstood, or are you actually still unclear yourself about what you want? For those in relationships, this is a day to notice the gap between what a partner says and what their actions are actually showing you. For those single, attraction may feel intense, almost declarative, and yet oddly hard to pin down in another person's response. The resolution comes later, once Mercury and Saturn align. That combination does not erase the desire to be direct. It refines it. Wait a few hours if a conversation feels urgent right now. What you want to say will still matter this evening, and by then you will likely find the more accurate words for it. Career. That same Mars-Neptune square that is complicating your love life is doing something very similar at work, and this is where the two frameworks converge on the same lesson. The Western view sees Mars activating your identity while squaring Neptune in your career house, meaning your drive to prove yourself is running into unclear expectations from someone in a position of authority. You may have noticed a project where the scope feels like it keeps shifting, or a pitch, presentation, or proposal that you poured real effort into, only to sense the audience was not fully present or fully aligned with what you delivered. That carefully bulleted email that gets stuck in transit, the client who shows up distracted to the very meeting you rehearsed all night for, none of that reflects your effort. It reflects Neptune's fog sitting directly over the part of the sky that governs how your work is seen and judged today. This is the moment worth remembering. What looks like a professional setback right now, a stalled response, a vague answer, a deadline that keeps moving, may actually be protecting you from committing fully to a situation that is not ready to receive your full effort yet. Ask for something in writing. Request a clearer deadline. Confirm before you spend real energy on something built on assumptions rather than agreements. That single habit turns today's uncertain energy into forward motion instead of wasted motion. Money. The financial thread today connects directly back to that career fog, because unclear professional situations often create unclear financial ones. If you are waiting on payment, approval, or confirmation of a deal, expect the timeline to feel slippery rather than firm. This is not the day to assume a verbal agreement will hold its shape exactly as spoken. There is real relief coming, though, and it is worth holding on to. A difficult financial stretch appears to be nearing its end, with tension easing in the near term. That said, this is not the day to chase a new investment, particularly anything involving property. The advice here is patient rather than pessimistic. Research more before committing capital, especially while Neptune is busy blurring details that usually matter, like fine print, true costs, or realistic timelines. Let the fog clear before you sign anything that ties up your resources for years. Health. Here is where today's biggest insight actually lives, and it might be the part you did not expect. So much of today's tension comes from wanting immediate clarity and not getting it. That craving for certainty, when it goes unmet, often shows up physically before it shows up emotionally, in restlessness, tension in the jaw or shoulders, or a subtle undercurrent of irritability you cannot quite trace to one cause. The real work today is not forcing clarity to appear faster. It is tending to yourself while you wait for it. That means paying attention to your skin, finding a routine that actually suits you rather than whatever's trending online, and treating that as a form of self-respect rather than vanity. It also means being honest with yourself about any recent missteps, taking responsibility for something and offering a sincere apology to someone you care about is not weakness right now. It is actually one of the most grounding things you can do while Neptune keeps everything else feeling slightly unresolved. Some Vedic practitioners may recommend remedies tied to specific planetary placements, sometimes including gemstones or mantras, for individuals whose personal charts support them. That kind of prescription depends entirely on an individual birth chart and is never meant as universal advice. What is safe and useful for everyone today is simpler. Wearing tones of brown is considered supportive of steady, grounding energy for you right now, and a few quiet minutes of breathing or journaling can do more for you today than pushing through the fog on willpower alone. Home and family. If work and love feel foggy today, home is where the sky finally clears. The moon moving through Libra brings a noticeably different texture to your domestic life, one built around balance, warmth, and quiet appreciation rather than tension. You may find yourself more aware than usual of how much your family or chosen support system actually holds you up, even on days when you do not say it out loud. This is a good day to say it out loud, whether that is a small gesture, a genuine thank you, or simply being fully present during a shared meal. The astrology today rewards closeness over accomplishment. If earlier sections left you feeling like you have to prove something out in the world, this is your reminder that nothing needs to be proven here. The people closest to you already see you clearly, fog or no fog. The hours between 5 and 6 in the evening carry a noticeably lighter, happier quality for you today. If you can, protect that window. Let it be unstructured, unhurried, and shared with someone who makes you feel at ease, travel, and spirit. Remember that quieter thread from earlier, the one about your commute or a short trip coming up sometime before October? This is where it deserves a second look. It will not announce itself as important. It might be a rerouted drive, a new path to somewhere familiar, or a short journey that seems entirely unremarkable in the moment. Evolutionary astrology tends to treat small, easily overlooked shifts like this as seeds rather than events. The significance is not meant to be obvious now. It is meant to be visible in hindsight, sometime between mid-2027 and mid-2028, when you look back and recognize this stretch of time as the quiet beginning of a genuinely lucky turning point in how you move through the world. You do not need to chase that outcome today. You only need to stay a little more awake to where your feet are actually taking you. Spiritually, today asks for something similar to what your body is asking for: patience with the unclear parts without abandoning your own instincts. Neptune's presence is not only fog, it is also imagination, intuition, and permission to trust what you sense even before you can explain it logically. That instinct you have about the property you are not ready to buy, the message you are choosing not to send yet, the pitch you are deciding to hold back one more day. Trust it. It is not hesitation. It is discernment. Lucky signs. Brown is your color of steadiness today, helping ground the more scattered Neptune energy moving through your chart. Your most favorable window arrives between 5 and 6 in the evening, when domestic warmth and emotional ease are easiest to access. Compatible energy today comes through grounded, patient company rather than anyone rushing you toward a decision. If a number feels meaningful to you today, let it be one connected to home or family rather than ambition. That is simply where the sky is asking you to root yourself while everything else finds its shape. Today's guidance: if there is one thread running through everything today, it is this: clarity is coming, just not on your original timeline. Mars wants to move now. Neptune wants you to wait until the picture sharpens. Mercury and Saturn, arriving later, offer the honest words you will need once it does. Let today be about gathering information rather than forcing outcomes. Confirm before you commit. Apologize where it is due. Care for yourself in small, consistent ways rather than dramatic ones. And treat that quiet little shift in your daily travel as exactly what it is: not a big moment yet, but the first quiet step toward one. Stay close to home tonight. Let the people who know you best remind you who you are, and trust that the fog you are moving through today is temporary, not permanent.